Howdy everyone, it's me again, Sean. This is gonna be another one of those dude talking at a camera videos. It's funny because once you start getting recommended those videos, you see them a lot. Just a dude talking to a camera. I don't mind those videos, but they're definitely just like a therapy for the dude. That's what this is though. These are called Cptsd vlogs for a reason. Anyways, the main thing I want to talk about is, well, I had a few things actually. I just got pre-approved for a mortgage, but it was kind of exciting when it happened, but I don't think it's gonna pan out. Like, I don't think I'll end up buying a house because basically I'm off work right now. I've been off work for over 6 months, I think, and I'm thankful to God that I was able to, have some time off while still getting paid. I was on the short-term leave. They call it STIP, short-term injury illness plan, I think. And so I got my paycheck every 2 weeks, but it was 25% less. And because I had a decent job, it was still a good amount of money. And I was like, basically, I've been thinking about quitting that job. I actually told them I was going to quit. But she asked me, like, are you sure? And do you want to talk about it? And I was like, okay. And then so I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, I wonder if I could buy a house. I didn't say that to her, my boss, but I was like, I wonder if I could buy a house. Let me look into that. So I talked to the bank, and they approved me for like $300,000, 306 or something. But remember, that's Canadian money, and our money is in the toilet, and our housing market is inflated. So really, there's not many places for that amount, $300,000, and available in this town. Like, I live in BC. BC is like extremely expensive. All of Canada is really expensive. Well, not maybe some place like Saskatchewan are cheaper, but BC is really expensive. And it's just hard. It's just hard for us, poor people. I was looking around at all the people when I went to go for a walk today. I was like, man, all these people are probably renting. Like, all those construction workers, the guys working on maintenance for the city, like cutting hedges, and just the people working in restaurants and everything. Like, I just, like, I don't know, it just gave me this weird thought. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or mean, but I was just like, wow, all these people are poor. Like, they're probably all renting. Like, we're all just trying to make it up in the world. And I was thinking about the rat race, and I was thinking about, like, the debt slavery, but I mean, it's probably fine. I mean, when you really think broader and compare it to other times in history and everything. But yeah, there's still a lot of stuff that's not great. I don't know, when you really try and have like a full thought process about something, at least I find it's like usually it balances out almost, like, and I end up getting nowhere with it. But the other thing is, I hardly ever get to talk about this with anybody. It's just kind of my own thoughts. But I don't know. That being said, I still think, like, it would have been nice to buy a house, because then I would have put in money into a mortgage, which would pay down the property to own it, or like, yeah, rather than renting. But I don't know. Anyways, so I'm probably not going to be able to buy a house, because even though I got pre-approved, I'm still thinking about quitting, and it would be kind of like a pretty big leap to be able to buy a house, because the bank wants to know They would want an employment verification letter. Once you want to get finally approved, they want an employment verification letter and a recent, I think 2 recent pay stubs or something like that. And I was thinking like I was gonna quit this job because I don't know, my mental health is just destroyed. Like it's just been so bad. But and I felt like an imposter or like guilty or like I wasn't doing enough because I was working with children. And I don't know if it's like something wrong with me or what, but I felt like I have to do the best job ever for these kids. You know what I mean? Like I have to fix every single problem, and that was just too much pressure. That's like insane pressure. But it's also because it comes from a place where I grew up so in such a freaking, excuse my language, such a fucking bad situation that I feel like, and I'm so aware of how that affects people growing up, like as they get older, that stuff stays with you, and you can spend your whole life like I have trying to like deal with your childhood. So I'm like, gotta do this, everything in my power. Like I have to like make sure these kids are okay. Like I have to make sure like it was almost like I was trying to work magic. Like it just felt crazy. Like it got too crazy over there. And the people I worked with were not helpful. Not very helpful in any of that. They actually added stress. It was crazy. That whole situation was really crazy. And so I kind of realized like, well, it would be a little bit delusional for me to think that going back there would be much different. That place has just got deep problems, like fixed problems, kind of. And it functions somehow, on taxpayer money. But yeah, that's a tough one. And again, always, I didn't really care that much about the place. Like I realized it was effed up in there and it was dysfunctional essentially, and everyone was dysregulated who worked there. But I would always think about kids, like, okay, it's messed up here, but how can we still do like our best for the kids? And that's where I would kind of get mad at the place like I worked at. Like, why do we not have our shit together if we're working with children? Why does it seem like people are trying to like reinvent stuff constantly? Like, are you guys stupid? Are you guys like, what's going on? Like, do you guys not all have degrees? Like a bunch of them had master's degrees. It's like, and they were all like on different pages, and it's like, so I kind of got like first I was confused, then I got kind of mad, even though I didn't really, share it with anyone, but I was just like, but then now I'm starting to have more like acceptance, I'd say, because I'm like, well, this is just, this is the way it is. It's kind of crazy like this for a reason, and it's just sort of sad. Like I accept that it's kind of sad that the kids who go through there, they may end up with problems later on in their life that we weren't able to fully intervene on. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like acceptance, I'd say, because it's like, well, we tried our best. I tried my best. Yeah, that's a tough one to kind of. But then it's like, oh, well, it could have been worse, if these kids didn't come in. And, I was one of the kids that barely got any real social services help. But yeah, that whole social services, like I was basically a social worker. They kind of tricked me a little bit in the hiring process. They said it was mental health support worker. Then I looked at my real title, social program officer, and I was working with a bunch of social workers. So I was like, you guys got me. You got me. It's really just like a social work job. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of crazy myself. Whatever. But a weird part of that is I've always wanted to help other people. But I get angry with other people. So, yeah, I'm trying to be more patient, I guess, and more realistic, but it's really hard to help other people. Yeah, it's easy to take advantage of people. I've always known that. But I've always fought against that, because it's not a good thing in the long run. It's selfish. Um, so, anyways, the point I was making was that I'm probably going to be moving. I'm probably going to be quitting. And to get a mortgage, the bank would want to have like some verification of employment and all this. And I asked if I could buy in a different province, but they said, yeah, but we need to verify that you're like still working, like you have remote work or whatever. So I was like, okay, thank you. And I was a little bit excited about it, but then I realized, then I thought, well, that's okay. It probably won't happen. And I could, try again in the future. When I get a new job and I have to go for probation, I think it's 3 or 6 months, and then I'd have to, reapply for mortgage. The rates will probably change. She said it was the last day for a 3.99% rate, and it's going up, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to not feel a little bit down about all these things for me. I don't know, I just feel stupid in a way for some reason, like I should have done better. I had some successful friends, so I also compare myself to them, which is not a good idea. Comparison is the thief of joy, they say. But, no, it'll be okay, like, it's God's will be done, not ours. And, yeah, I'll be okay. Oh, the main thing I'm always focusing on is this, like, how can I improve my mental health and be stable and all this, but, yeah. I guess one doesn't come, like, uh, one doesn't come instantly. Sometimes they come at the same time. So maybe it'll happen slowly, right? But, along with other things, but I've been meditating a lot. Meditation has really been helpful. Um, I don't drink caffeine. This is decaf. Um, I eat really clean with the healthy keto. My ketones are always pretty high, above 1.5. I exercise. I signed up for a 10K run on Mother's Day is coming up. I've been practicing for that. I ran 6K yesterday. Alright, so I got something controversial next. So, I've been listening to Nick Fuentes a little bit. I forget why. I forget how he popped up for me. I kind of knew about him. People said he was like alt-right, he was white nationalist, he was a Nazi or something like this. And so I hadn't really listened to him. But I've always been like, what's the best way to phrase it? Sympathetic or agreeable to some of the ideas. I'm not really agreeable to the hate. That's the thing. So the thing that really, like, basically, a better way to put it is that I'm basically after truth. Like, truth. And basically I've been listening to him, and a lot of what he's saying is true, especially regarding Jewish people or Israel. And I've talked about this before, but there's sort of like this icky feeling that happens when you even mention Jews or Israel, or that they may be doing things to take advantage of other people, or that they may be at fault some way. And that icky feeling is just a feeling like I am gonna get a ton of shit for this. people are gonna hate me for this. People are gonna call me a Nazi. They're gonna call me names. They're gonna call me this or that. And so it's weird because it's like, well, is it true? And like the weird thing too about like what he says, and he's not the only one to say this stuff. He's smart. I can tell that. He's not completely that right on everything. And I actually kind of felt a little bit bad for him in a way because uh, he's basically saying like, my life is ruined. My life is like, I don't know if he said his life is ruined, but he said like, people hate him. His life is just like kind of ruined. Like people are trying to kill him. Someone showed up to his house with a gun and then killed themselves later. And he's got like no. He's kicked out of regular society from the banks and the like the banks won't touch him. Media won't touch him. Most media won't touch him. He's doing his own media thing. He's like banned and censored from most stuff except for Rumble and X, which has now come back because the censorship kind of got taken off quite a bit. But I don't know like what to say about all of it. The main thing I just want to say is like truth is important, obviously, but the thing is that he's basically talking about one of the most untouchable subjects, untalked about subjects there is, which is Jewish power, Jewish control, Israel power and control. And he's smart about it because he talks about how it's related to Christianity. It's related to, it's thousands of years old. It's related to, it goes before Christianity, and it's just such an important topic. Like, it's so important, and it's just, to me, it's weird how people don't really see it. I thought it's weird for years, but so I never really listened to Nick Fuentes. But I forget how I. Oh, right. No. Okay, so it was related to Kanye, but that came after. I forget how. I forget exactly how. But basically, like, I listened to a bit of his stuff, and I was laughing, and I was like, because the thing about me is that true stuff makes me laugh. Like, not always, but like true stuff that you're not allowed to talk about, it makes me laugh. And I've always kind of been that way. I don't know if it's like a nervous laughter or just like an appreciative laughter or like a something, but so he was saying like all this stuff that's like it's like true. And it's like but you can't talk about it, of course. And I was just like, wow, he's saying a lot of stuff that's true. And of course he's getting completely taken down for it, but I think we all want stuff that's true. And it's just strange how feelings get mixed into it. So anyways, anyways, he's just saying a lot of stuff that's really true. And I don't go as far on some stuff. But oh my goodness. Whenever I think about it, it's just like this huge swamp of stuff. Like, it's so confusing. So confusing too. But yeah, some of the stuff that he's saying that's true is like the USS Liberty incident, the Holodomor, um, a lot of stuff around 9/11, a lot of stuff around the JFK assassination, the Bolshevik Revolution. You know, Marxism. Marx was Jewish, or he came from a line of Jews. Um, the some stuff around World War II and the Holocaust, like, was that number accurate? It's like, this is the stuff you cannot say. Like, otherwise you get called a World War II revisionist, you get called a Holocaust denier, but you get called an anti-Semite, like, almost immediately. You get called a Nazi. He's, you know, jeez, man. This is the stuff you cannot say. He talks about collectivism versus individualism. So, like, nationalism, like, are people, when people are one cohesive or heterogeneous unit, like people, like the same race, are they more successful? You know, stuff like genes and I don't know. It's just so confusing. Like, it gets so confusing. Like, yeah. I feel like it's just, these are such untouchable subjects for most people. But the weird thing is that there are a lot of people, like, quote unquote, waking up, or criticizing Jewish people, or like criticizing events and facts and what's going on, or like being critical of them and analytical and all this. And I think that's important, you know. It is such a swamp of a topic. Like, it's like moving through a bog. It's like, it just, yeah, it really is like a bog. You know, they kill Jesus, they hate Jesus. You're not allowed to become a Jew. Some, most Jewish think that. You know, you're not a real Jew. The Jews think other people are cattle, or don't have souls, or are, you know, subhuman. There's a lot of stuff in the Talmud that's really questionable. Yeah. Yeah. Um, the Jewish people are in most positions of power. You know, they're overrepresented in positions of power. In media, in Hollywood, in finance, in most things. Yeah. It's like, when I talk about it, it's like a drain. Like, I feel like kind of drained talking about it, because I don't really know. Like, I used to say, like, I have said before, like, and this was years ago, I said, like, I hate Jews to some people, like some close people. Like, my girlfriend broke up with me because of it. One of my friends stopped talking to me, even though he wasn't like a really great friend. Although he kind of was, but, you know, they said, you can't say that. You can't say you hate a group of people. And, like, now people, like I said, it's getting more and more, like, apparent to people. I think especially, you know, since, like, this October 7th, and especially since this huge war, well, pretty big war in Palestine and Gaza and Israel, that area. And so there's a lot of, like, think Muslim people. But I don't know, like, you can hear the air raid siren this town still has from World War II. I don't know why they never took it away. And that is an air raid siren. It happens at noon every day. But yeah, the topic is kind of draining just because I feel drained. Like, whenever I talk about things that are true or real, I get this weirdness in my body. Like, partly it's like I feel drained. Partly I feel kind of good. You know, I feel like, sort of like, why can't we talk about this? Why can't we talk about facts? Why can't we talk about what's real, what's important? You know, why are we talking about, like, stupid stuff constantly? Like, I don't even want to talk about LGBT stuff, even though that's what a lot of people want to talk about. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't, like, I don't want men and women to be fighting all the time, you know, over all this stuff. Ah, jeez. Oh, man. It's really draining. It's really draining. But I think the last thing I'll probably say, which I noticed was important. So the hate part. So it's, you don't hate people. Like, obviously you can do whatever you want in the free will sense. I'm just saying, like, hating people is not a good thing. You are supposed to love your enemies. This is what Jesus taught us. Like, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic. And really, I've had to evaluate this part for myself a lot, because I used to have, like, I don't know if it was like a hate, but I guess at one point I sort of hated Jewish people just because of all the, what I thought at the time were evil things. But, you know, you're supposed to love even your enemies. And you're really supposed to love everybody. Like, and that's so important. And I don't want to get caught up in the hate part, but I do think truth is important. So it's a tricky one. It's like, how can I still say what's true while, you know, still loving people and like, honestly praying for people to come to Christ, for their conversion. Yeah, because I believe Christ is God. He's the way, the truth, and the life to the Father. He says the only way to the Father is through me. Well, anyways, I'm out of time here, but that's all for now.